Oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life as TVB? And this is the August 2025 Skizzo Rambling. I can't believe it. We are 7 months down, 5 more to go. Like, August is here. I'm recording this really late at night, you know, because, again, like, I'm just like, excuse me. Yes. Just yes. And like, this is, I'm recording this at 12:50 a.m. on Sunday, August 3rd. And I was, like, you know, I've been trying to make these Skizzo Rambling videos as close to the first day of each month as humanly possible. And I so would have, like, done this on August 1st, but I saw my therapist over Zoom that morning, right? And then, like, straight after that, I had to be at work, like, all day until, like, 9 o'clock. I was taking, like, kind of a double shift. I took the afternoon shift at my second job at the gym, which is for now gonna be my day job as well. Yeah, I worked that day until 9 p.m. and then straight after that I went to the Sequoia, you know, the bowling alley I live right down the street from for karaoke night. It was the first day of August and I wanted to celebrate it, you know, with my new friends that place by singing songs. I didn't film any Derpy covers that night, but there was one Derpy cover that I filmed that I missed from my mega Derpy cover compilation that I uploaded a few weeks ago. Yeah, I honestly, I might not have filmed it by mistake. I could have sworn I did, but I did. I sang "Move Along" by All American Rejects that night, and I'm pretty sure I filmed it. I just couldn't find it for my video for whatever reason. It's buried in my, you know, my photo drive somewhere, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna be. I think because when you know, oh my gosh, July this year was a really crazy month for me, honestly. Like, you know, it was my last day at my day job at the zoo. Like, that was my seasonal 10-month position. It's like, holy cow, like, a year ago, like, it's been a year since I, like, got interviewed for the Columbus Zoo, and they, you know, I was hired for the Congo job, like, 2 weeks later, and I was just so excited. Like, I was, like, last year, as of, you know, a year ago from today, it's like, I was just so flabbergasted that I was moving to Ohio, and I was like getting ready. Not just I was getting ready for the Green Day concert with Rancid and Smashing Pumpkins at this time last year, but I was also just like packing my bags and figuring out my living situation for Columbus and like just trying to like end my time at the Dogtopia I was at last year on a strong note. I just can't. Like, I'm just dumbfounded. Like, for my September Skizzo Rambling this year, I think I'm gonna make it either on September 1st, which is actually gonna be on Labor Day this year, like a Labor Day Skizzo Rambling, either that or a September 5th Skizzo Rambling, which is gonna be the first Friday of September this year. September 5th is officially going to mark 1 year since I moved to Ohio, you know, for my new life out here at, you know, obviously I'm in the middle of my layoff period right now. I'm not sure if I'll be back at the zoo this year, unfortunately, but like, still, I mean, I didn't just move here for the zoo. Like, I actually rewatched my July 4th Skizzo Rambling that I did a month ago to, like, jog my memory, make sure I'm not beating a dead horse. I might do so anyway. My apologies in advance. But yeah, I moved here for the fresh start in life, like, not just the career. And yeah, I gotta say, both of that went swimmingly. I was just talking to my roommate about this. It's like, today, August 3rd, it's been 1 year since my last, 2 years since my last day of my internship at the Utica Zoo in upstate New York. Like, I remember that last day, it was just like, I busted out, like, because, you know, one thing I've learned about zookeepers is that zoo people are just, they're very like-minded people. It's what I love about them. They're like you know, obviously not like some of the best people I've ever met, but it's like, they all share a very similar taste in music. Both the RDC, the Riverside Discovery Center, the place I interned at when I was in Nebraska for 12 weeks, and the Utica Zoo, everyone there was like popping like Imagine Dragons and like emo, punk rock, angsty shit, like hard rock, heavy metal, you name it, like in the kitchens while making diets for like the zoo animals, Taylor Swift, feeder songs, Disney songs, you name it. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone here's music taste is even more unhinged than mine is. Right? I remember I have a special playlist on Spotify. I call it the Bring Me Thanos playlist, which is like full of all of my most like motivation, my like all-time favorite songs and the songs that just are the most motivational and powerful to me. Like so for instance, not every like Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force occasion is a my Bring Me Thanos playlist occasion, but every Bring Me Thanos playlist occasion is a Through the Fire and Flames occasion. And like I remember 2 years ago, today, I was because one of my main responsibilities during my internship at that place, 2 summers ago, was like helping the keepers make diets for all the animals every morning, right? And I was telling my fellow interns and the keepers at the place, hey, our whole summer has led up to this day. I'm so glad I got to share it with all of you. And yeah, I like, and I was like, can I like chop up all the fruits and vegetables and the diets for the gibbons and the spider monkeys within the span of 7 minutes and 22 seconds? And they were like, no, but it's worth a shot. And that's what I did. I started blaring Through the Fire and Flames on that speaker in the kitchen, and my supervisor, she was like, Vitas, can you lower the music? No, she was very sweet. It's like she actually... she was like the head keeper of that place too, and was one of my references, right? She actually, recently she left the Utica Zoo for the St. Louis Zoo, which my mom and I actually filmed a video at the St. Louis, 2 videos actually at St. Louis Zoo during our road trip after my parents split up, and I was helping my mom get stuff out of my dad's house. We road tripped from New Jersey to Colorado. We visited St. Louis Zoo along the way. It's a beautiful zoo, and the admission is free. Yeah, so if you're ever in like Missouri, I would definitely suggest checking it out. And Kansas City Zoo too, because it's like Kansas City's like both in Kansas and Missouri technically, but I digress. But yeah, it's like 3 years ago. I mean, it was my last day of that internship at that place, and saying, it's like, and it's always hard saying goodbye. I feel like the last days should just be like an emotion all of their own, right? That's the thing. I feel like springtime every year, like March, April, and May is where like it's basically like springtime fuckery. That's like the most. It's like it's the craziest time of the year in terms of like with both the good ways and the bad ways. And it's like I think the June, July, and August and September too, honestly, are the years is like it's finally the response to said fuckery from the springtime. Like, okay, here's what the rest of the year is going to look like. What are we going to do from now, I guess? It's kind of difficult to explain, but it's like, I just noticed that, like, a lot of change happens every July because, like, I had a really great last day at the zoo because my last skizzo rambling video on 4th of July, I recorded that video, like, 3 days before my last day at the zoo, and... I had a really nice send-off with, the gorillas and the other Congo animals, and I got to film my keeper chat, the orangutan exhibit, and, say goodbye to my coworkers and everything. And yeah, and I have applied to, like, other departments, because I'm afraid I don't think the animal care departments are hiring, the other departments, that is, are hiring for seasonals this fall, but I did hear back from one of the non-animal departments recently, who I may or may not have an interview with coming pretty soon. So yeah, like, either if I, like, end up returning to the zoo this September, like, maybe, I mean, I was, like, I guess I could get back into door dashing, but I don't want to, more for my car's sake than anything else. Because, like, I've been using up enough gas already just by driving to and from the zoo every day for 10 months, and my second job at the gym, and going up to to and from my girlfriend's place because she doesn't have a car, so I'm always the one. So not that I mind, obviously. I'm
always the one driving, and that's great. I love long car rides. But, gas, wear and tear, oil changes, stuff like that. I think for my car's sake, I think I really would not like to go back to door dashing if I can avoid that. Like, I would rather give dog daycares another chance than DoorDash another chance, especially if I find out if I won't be back at the zoo this, like, fall. Like, maybe if I end up, because we'll see where this next step goes. Like, balls in their court. I'm gonna see if I can get an interview with this other department and get back there this fall, because it's either that or I won't be back there at all until, like, early 2026 at least. Which, again, I'll be okay. Like, yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'm more concerned about just, like, making ends meet at the moment than getting back into the zoo necessarily. I mean, I still got my other job at the gym working front desk at that place, but it's like, I don't think that alone is gonna be enough to sustain me for much longer. So, like, yeah, there's a lot to do in Columbus. Like, it's a growing city. Like, I love Ohio. Like, it's given me so much since I moved here, right? So I'll keep you guys posted on what happens, because like I said, the next Skizzo Rambling, being in September, I'll definitely fill you guys in on, like, maybe I'll do yeah, never mind. But yeah, anyways, back to July this year, like, because the day after I recorded my last Skizzo Rambling was July 5th. That was Ozzy Osbourne's final performance of Black Sabbath, and it's like, I would have, part of me really, when I heard that was happening, I so would have gone, but if it wasn't, like, ridiculously out of my budget at the moment, because even with my mom's flight benefits of the United Airlines job, there's no way in hell I would have been able to, like, get out to Birmingham and see, like, for the plane tickets, the train rides, the hotels, the concert ticket, that was just, I can't imagine what it was like being there in person, because just from, like, seeing the bits and pieces of it, like, on YouTube, and, like, I haven't watched a full live stream front and back, but I've seen, like, videos. It's like, yes, it's been over a year since Gojira became the first metal band to play at the Olympics in Paris last year. It's like, I watched a video of them playing their rendition of Mea Culpa, Asaira, the song from the French Revolution. They did their metal opera cover of at the place where Marie Antoinette was executed last year. Well, where Marie Antoinette was executed during the French Revolution. It's like, they got an opera singer to, collaborate with them, and that same opera singer came back, for Ozzy's final performance. Man, that also Youngblood's, like, live cover of Changes, which, my man Youngblood, he's kind of very, like, I was introduced to him through, like, when Machine Gun Kelly switched from, like, rap to, like, pop punk. Like, I've had a lot of respect for Youngblood ever since those, like, I Think I'm Okay, that's a great song. But seeing him play Changes, like, I just love the way his energy, he's like, I can't hear you, I'm sad, the changes. Like, God bless Black Sabbath, God bless Ozzy Osbourne. It's like, wow, what a sight. As well as Metallica and Slayer and all the different super groups that came, and Guns N' Roses and, like, Alice in Chains and Mastodon and Lamb of God. I've just, like, that whole, and of course, like, leading up to Ozzy's final performance with Black Sabbath, it's like, that's why I've been drawing pictures, because, I'm so grateful that, like, Ozzy made it for his final performance, because this was, like, really the end of the road for, like, I already made my tribute video about Ozzy Osbourne. May he rest in peace. Like, I'm still, like, I said this in that video and on Instagram, and I'll say it again. It's like, I've been deeply saddened by celebrity deaths before, right? Like Chester Bennington and, Robin Williams and people like that, or Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, and Stan Lee. But this was, like, the first time, like, Ozzy passing away, like, legit had me, like, in a state of grief. Which is what prompted me to draw that picture of him with the bats. And I coupled that with all the pictures that I took, for my mom and my stepdad's wedding reception in Colorado. My sister, her fiance, and I all flew out for it, and it was a really sweet weekend. spending time with family and, celebrating my mom's, new life at, their new place. And it's just like, there's every time, both this time I visited Colorado and when I flew out there for Christmas, right? I like low-key forget how beautiful that state is. Because I said it's my last schedule rambling. I'll say it again here. I lived in Colorado for, over 5 years. I went to college there and everything. I lived at my uncle's house in Denver because that was always like a second home to me, growing up. It's for my sister and I whenever we'd fly out to visit him and my grandparents, for Christmas and like summer vacation and winter break and stuff like that. Yeah, I probably would have just stayed there if I had gotten an internship at the Denver Zoo or the downtown aquarium instead of, a zoo in frickin' upstate New York of all places. But lo and behold, I tried, I was looking at the zoos in Colorado and I didn't get me anywhere, but hey, I did in upstate New York and then moved, lo and behold, that's way closer to my dad's house in New Jersey, so that's how I ended up in Melbourne. Back in Melbourne 2 years ago. And yeah, it's like, I was just telling my roommate about this. It's like, that year, like, interning at the Utica Zoo and, like, and taking my YouTube hiatus, that 4-month grace period I had between Utica and Nebraska, and, like, this coming August is going to mark 3 years since my internship at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs, right before my internship in Nebraska. It's like, moving 5 times for 3 unpaid and completing 3 unpaid internships within a span of a year. That, like, graduating college in the middle of a pandemic were, like, the 2 hardest things I've ever done. Like, I've noticed that life is kind of like a cycle of, like, taking a whole lot of steps forward and knowing when to take a step back. Because after I graduated from CSU back in 2021, that 7-month grace period I had between, like, graduating from college and heading off to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, like, those last 7 months I had living in Fort Collins, I was, like, I was, kind of just, like, being a party animal for a little bit. Heading up, like, that Irish pub and, like, there's also a bowling alley down the street from my new place here in Ohio, but there's a bowling alley down the street from my old place in Fort Collins, right? I would just, like, cut loose at those places a lot during, like, that 7-month time frame, because I finally am done with college, and it's like, hey, I don't need to deal with projects or classes or homework anymore, so I can basically get to do whatever I want in the evenings now. So I was like, when I wasn't, like, applying to zoo internships, obviously, and before I eventually landed one and, got ready to move for it, like, I was just, like, really enjoying life, all things considered. But if I had just stayed there, oh no, that would not have been good. If I had just stayed in Fort Collins, because career-wise, there was just nothing for me there. Like, again, it's like I was at that Dogtopia for 14 months, and yeah, that was I look back very fondly at working in that place. I really do. But it's like, if I had just stayed there, it's not a career. It's just a job. Like, I didn't go to college to do that for the rest of my life. And like I said, I may or may not go back to working at a pet place at some point this year. Like, if I can't work at the zoo this year again, like, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm not. I don't want to, like, count the chickens before they hatch, I guess. But yeah, like, this July, when I flew back home to Columbus after visiting my family in Colorado, it's like, I flew back to Columbus on the 21st this year, which was the day before that. July 20th was, like, my 3-year anniversary of quitting my old job at Dogtopia, and, like, then the 22nd was, like, that was the day I moved out of, like, the place I was at in Fort Collins and left Fort Collins finally, to get ready for a Cheyenne Mountain Zoo internship. And, like, July, I've noticed, has been July and August and September, like, the 3 months where it's, like, the most, like, hey, this has been, like, X amount of years since my last day at that place, so to speak. Weird how that works. But yeah, it's like, I was taking, that year from, like, the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo internship all the way up to the end of my Utica Zoo internship, I was taking all these steps forward, and it's like, then basically for 13 months when I was back home in Milburn, at my dad's old neighborhood, reunited with, like, my old friends from, like, elementary school, middle school, and high school, it's like, yeah, I was, like, staying busy by looking at zoo jobs and everything. I eventually got one after going through a string of, like, interviews and applications and whatnot. But, like, I was still, like, again, I was, working at Dogtopia, and again, it was like, I was trying to, I was getting the experience that I needed, and then, like, trying to put said experience to use by just, like, doing whatever I could to, like, get the next step. And I think, like I said, I think. These past 10 months I've been in Columbus have been like, I've taken all these steps forward by working at the Congo expedition, helping the keepers with like cleaning the grill exhibits, like making diets, enrichment, like having all this experience. And it's like, and along the way, I mean, again, so much amazingness has happened, or greatness has happened. I've never had a second job before, like prior to me being in Columbus, aside from door dashing. But yeah, I got one, and I've made so many memories. It's like, I found love out here. I saw Beartooth in concert back in January. Like, there's just, every month I've been here has just been one adventure after the next, and it's like, hey, now I'm not in the zoo anymore. It's like I've taken the time to decompress, and yeah, like I said, I am, like, worried about making ends meet. It's funny. I wasn't even, like, using it that much. I don't even know why I got it in the first place, to be honest with you guys. But I canceled my Amazon Prime membership yesterday morning, right? Because I realized, okay, I'm barely using this, and it's like just too expensive. But as soon as I canceled my membership and like requested a refund, right? Jeremy Johns, my favorite movie reviewing YouTuber, posted a review of him basically bashing the new War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube, which is on Amazon Prime, and I was like, oh man, he gave it a dog shit score. Like, I dodged a bullet. Because I think the times I was using Amazon Prime was for like watching Flow and movies that were on Amazon Prime like that. Man, funny how that works. It's like, oh geez, I feel like I gotta make my top 9 worst movies of the year list this January. That's why I saw the Smurfs movie. It was literally just to bash it and just see how bad it is. Because I think, bad movies are like a spectacle in and of themselves, because it's like, it is kind of like impressive how like the movie, like the fact that we have like worst movies of the year lists is kind of a sad thing, because movies are very difficult to make, and it's like the studio invested millions of dollars into this thing, right? And the director, the cast, the crew, the actors, everything, just like getting everyone's schedules to line up together and making this movie happen, like all this effort with like the special effects and the freaking acting and the script and cinematography, and also the movie making like art form, right? And this is how it turned out. Like a 5% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh my gosh, like geez. Like, there are some bad movies that I've missed, and I feel like there's also a lot of great movies I miss every year too. It's just like you only have time for so many movies, I feel like. Yeah, and yeah, but good riddance, Amazon Prime and other things. Like, there's I was gonna say something else, but yeah, I had a nice weekend in Colorado, and I've just been like trying to work in my second job as much as I can for the rest of the summer, and making more videos. I think when I came back, when I filmed my Turtle 2's episode, which was like my combo review of like the Predator Killer of Killers, I made my graphic novel review with Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. I made my photo montage of the zoo photos, and I made a excuse me. And I still, there's like another video I told you guys I'd make. I might be doing a live stream tomorrow with an old compadre of mine from art club in high school. He had this idea to like do a live stream together. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And, stay tuned for the other video I got planned. And at some point within the next, 4 weeks, I'm gonna make my summer food-themed video. Without spoiling it, obviously, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple this year. And, there's, also, another thing about the whole job search, since fall's right on a corner, I actually had someone tell me that, hey, you should try working at a haunted house as a fall themed gig this year for you. I think it might work. It might suit you. It's like, working in a haunted house this October, Fear Columbus, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. But yeah, whatever happens, I'll keep you guys updated with like, you know, my any like upcoming schedule changes and whatnot. If like there's anything that happens that might hinder me from making videos on a more consistent basis, I'll let you guys know for sure. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this Skizzo rambling. You guys, if you made it to the end of this Skizzo rambling, thank you so much. You totally did not have to do this. So I know that you made it to the end of this video. Please comment monkeys. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Yes. Alright, you guys have a good night. Stay beastly.